and we'll start off. This probably won't be a very long meeting unless you have a lot of questions, but primarily since there was announcements made during last week, I wanted to just review all of those to make sure that you all got the messages. Okay, so the news from LibLime is a lot longer today than it usually is. I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that Bibliovation 6.0 has been officially released. It was officially released last Friday. And I just wanted to reiterate that the documentation is still updated there. Now, the one piece that has been a little bit confusing, I understand, for all of us, including me, is that the production upgrade that we are encouraging right now is to Bibliovation 6.0, not to 5.20. Until last week, I had not been informed what the release date was going to be for Bibliovation 6.0, but since it's been released, that is the version that you will be upgrading to. If you have any concerns about that, like you haven't had it in your sandbox long enough, whatever, let LibLime know. I'd appreciate being copied too, so I'd know what to say to Patrick in our regular meetings. But that is going to be between you and LibLime at this point. If you've already upgraded to 5.20, and I know there are a few of you that have, my suggestion is to go ahead and schedule for the last week in July, or let LibLime schedule you the first week of August, basically. But we'll get to that in a minute again. Okay, if you haven't already been upgraded, and if you haven't scheduled your upgrade yet, LibLime has identified several weeks throughout the summer so that you can have lots of different dates to choose from. And I have the dates listed here. Basically, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of, it looks like the last 2 weeks of May, or in June and July, the middle two. No, I think it's the last weeks of all of them. Okay, so those are the dates that you have to schedule your upgrade. And the important thing is, if you don't schedule your upgrade, LibLime is going to go ahead and will upgrade you. I am assuming that they will tell you when they are going to upgrade you if it comes to that, but I would encourage you to not let it come to that, to definitely get your upgrade scheduled so it's on your timeline and not on theirs. In numbers 3 and 4 here about the URLs is still, I would ask you to ignore these for right now, because I have noticed that for those libraries that have been upgraded already, that the URLs for their sandbox is a little bit different than what I thought it was going to be. The difference is that this part here, Waldo, is not being included in it. And I think that we really would like to have that there. It just makes the naming convention easier. And it also makes it consistent from one version to another. I am verifying that with Patrick, and hopefully I'll have an answer from him so that I can post something out on the Waldo support mailing list later today. Okay, let's see, where am I? And Ben, I wanted to check with you in particular. I got a note from Jatika saying that your sandbox had been updated. but that there were problems with the OPAC config file. Did you get a copy of the OPAC config file from her?
I wasn't even aware that our sandbox was upgraded. I mean, I asked for it, but there was never any confirmation that we were going first or that it had been completed.
Okay, so I will forward that to you because she did send me a copy. I didn't know if she had sent you a copy though, so I decided to check with you. And I know that that was one thing that I didn't even have a copy of until this week. So I do have a spreadsheet that I am showing you. I will send this out to everyone via email. Those of you who have already had your sandboxes upgraded, you probably didn't know. And if you haven't checked your sandboxes, you don't know. But this is the schedule of the conversions. When I went through this list, there were several libraries left on the list that are no longer using our services. So I did change that, and I am checking with Jatika to make sure that these dates are in fact going to be the correct ones. But you were upgraded, Ben, on Monday of this week. No, Tuesday. You were upgraded this week. So I will send you that config file so that you have a copy of it.
Okay, did she have any specifics about why there was a problem with our config file? I mean, we do an awful lot of customization, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Actually, I have no idea what's going on.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
This is the email that I got. So I will forward this email to you. It has the config, OPAC config file in it. And the reason I'm questioning the URLs is because in this email message, it says that it doesn't have the Waldo in there. Everything else looked like I had wanted it to. And I had another email from Patrick saying that that Koha library was in the URL. So I want to make sure that that's standardized for everyone so that we all know what they are.
Right. Yeah, so, I put that into the chat thing as well. It's along with my strong concerns about having an official release of 6.0 without allowing us to view it in the sandbox.
Yeah. Let's see. Sierra, Patrick would be the person to contact. Patrick Jones. Stephen, I don't think yours has been done quite yet. You're down here tonight. Yes, I am concerned about that too, but no, it's not supposed to. I don't know what the URL is going to be. I will let you all know once I find out for certain. Okay. Let's see. Might have already, okay. So Ben, that file is on its way to you. And I will get this posted out so that at least you have some warning. The email that I did send a week ago did have the information that they were going to go ahead and just start upgrading the sandboxes. Like I said, until I got the schedule, other than what I put in the email, I didn't know how they were going to do it. So now that's there. Okay, Jason, what I would suggest is that you ask them to select a date in the last week that they have on their schedule. Let me get back here to this. During the end of July, if that doesn't interfere with your with any classes that you may be having. If not, ask them to wait until after the schedule that you can select from, like in the July 29th through August 1st. So the documentation links are still the same as that what I've had down here. And I'm going to leave the 520 and 518 links here because the documents are still there. And if there are pieces that you want to check back and see how they were in a version or two before, you can certainly do that then. I find it useful to have that documentation there because I've been out of sync with all of you for a long time now. So when I test things in the Waldo sandbox, it's not necessarily the same as testing it in your sandboxes. So I like having that documentation available. Okay, I got a message from Jane yesterday saying that there is a new point release on the sandbox. I also am pretty certain, and I will double check this as well, that any sandbox updates from now on will show up automatically in your sandboxes once you have your sandboxes upgraded to Bibliovation 6.0. So the this link to the release notes is one that you should make sure that you keep handy, because whenever there is an announcement, Jane will send it to me, and from now on I will forward that announcement out to the mailing list so that you're all aware that there have been changes. The changes for this particular release pertains to serials and a couple of bug fixes. The serials changes are primarily for branch library implementation and also for creating subscription records and prediction patterns for totally irregular serials. So if you're using serials and those are pieces that you want to be aware of, check in the release notes. They give you an idea where you'll find the information in the user documentation, so you'll have that whole link there. I haven't looked at the serials enhancements for a while. I will do that, and perhaps in our summer meeting, that can be one of, in our summer meetings, we can take a closer look at serials. There's been, even though the Code Fusion was primarily circulation, there were a whole lot of changes in serials as well, as you've seen through the various demonstrations that I've been giving. And we haven't looked at serials in a while, so since it seems to be settling down now, I think it's time for me to get into that a little bit deeper so that we can take a look at it. Okay. Any questions about this? I understand. I told Patrick that you know we need to have a little bit of warning on these things, but we will see if he responds to me on any of the other pieces. Yeah, okay. Any other conversations or comments, questions about the sandbox upgrades and the production upgrade scheduling?
Hi, Becky. If we've been upgraded, does that mean we can go in and look at our sandboxes? Because we were told in no uncertain terms that we weren't supposed to touch them for 2 weeks.
Yes, you can go in and look at them.
All right, cool, thank you.
The Sierra, the upgrade will take about the same amount of time. The actual upgrade, replacing the software, it happens within a half an hour, but the re-indexing that needs to be done for your databases is the time-consuming piece. And they want to make sure that the indexes are completely upgraded before you go in and start working on the new production version. So for your library, your whole system will be upgraded from the time you close one night until the time you open the next day. I'm not sure exactly what time they're going to start, but they will make sure that it is 100% available the following morning. Okay, so other questions?
Becky, it's Ben.
Okay.
I am trying to load the URL for our sandbox, and it doesn't seem to be going. I don't know if I've got it right. I've tried hartford-sandbox.waldo.bibliovation.com and also hartford-sandbox.waldo.coalibrary.com. Neither one of them seems to be coming up.
Okay, try leaving out the Waldo.
Okay. Ah, there it is. Bibliovation.com, by the way.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, here's the answer from Patrick. And he says, okay, so I don't have an answer as of today. I will let you know after we discuss it next Tuesday. Ben, I did ask for a redirect for you so that you could use the URL that you wanted to, so that they could keep whatever they wanted internally to be consistent. And I know that they've had redirects for many libraries since the time we started using, since 2009, basically. So that didn't seem to me to be a contentious request. I was surprised that at that answer.
I was kind of surprised to see that they had actually done it. I was kind of just asking if it was a possibility, and lo and behold, they've done it. So you may get a follow-up request for, hey, thanks for doing that. Good to know that we could. Could you change it back? But don't tell them now, so they don't have to rush and change it back. I'm going to send out this URL.
I will not do that.
All right, thank you.
They do respond to your requests. I hope you all know that. It's just that they're not real good at communicating back that they've made the response. So that's kind of nice to know that at least they're paying attention. The next thing on the agenda is summer meetings to begin in June, and I did not add a date in there, a specific date, because I didn't know for sure when you all wanted to start the summer meetings in June, whether you wanted June 6th or June 13th. Either of those would be the first, but I think we'll continue the every other week throughout the summer. That seems to be working okay, except on weeks where things happen and I send out emails and everything gets confused. And other than having a weekly meeting to say, okay, nothing new this week, I'm not sure what the answer is. So I just was hoping to get some reaction from you. I know that at the end of the term in different libraries, there's sometimes vacations that occur. People are gone. So if there is any preference, I would like to hear what it is. Otherwise, I'll schedule what works out best for me.
I don't know. I'm looking at the the dates that we can schedule our upgrades. They start on May 20th. Starting sometime in June for continuing our meetings might be a little late.
Well, I'm not sure if anybody has selected any times. I think, hold it. I did see one that was going to choose a date in May.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Okay. Okay, there's one on the 20th. Julia, do you have any reason to be concerned? As far as I know, you're not using acquisitions nor serials, right? Okay. So I think maybe June is okay. I didn't expect many people to select May dates just because the message came out a week ago and we were already in May.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Julia and Sierra, for going first. I think our first meeting in June, we might ask you how it went.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and select June 6th. Either date is actually okay with me, but I was going to wait for any feedback from you all. So I will schedule it again in GoToMeeting and send you an email, and there will be a new link to use because it'll be a new meeting, but we will use that same link throughout the summer. So I will continue to add the information to the beginning of the topic list that I send out, so that if you don't keep the email, you'll still have the information. Okay. On the enhancement list, I know I am behind in adding. I know that there are one or two things that were mentioned in a previous meeting that I didn't get in here yet, but I will get that in here, and by the time we start our summer meetings, this will be completely up to date. I also am, I think, one or two meetings behind in getting the recordings on YouTube, but I will get those all updated today, and you'll see all of them. Yeah, it looks like it's a couple, because there are the April ones that I don't have out there yet. And with that, it brings me to the end of the agenda, but I wanted to find out if there's anything else that any of you would like to talk about, any suggestions for what we would have on our agendas for the summer meetings. I know that I've suggested already serials, and I know since there are only a few libraries that use serials, that might not be an immediate need, but or it may be a need that we can fill by having just a special or a one-time meeting for those who are using serials.
Hi, Becky. This is less about COA and more about, say, I don't know, governance, but maybe the Waldo libraries could talk a bit about whether we can or should invite the public libraries that are coming over as part of Bibliovation.
Mm-hmm. That is a good question.
Just for webinars, it'd be great to hear what their experiences are, and it sounds like a lot of the enhancements that we're putting through have to be coordinated with them anyways, because they have their own enhancement money, and maybe it might be nice to talk to them on a regular basis.
That's a good idea. Perhaps maybe one of our meetings per month could include all of them.
Sure. If
they wanted to attend.
Right.
I suspect that they won't want to come to 2 meetings a month. The Code Fusion item that I usually have on the agenda, There is going to be a Code Fusion meeting again in July. I believe those meetings are tending to be like every other month again, like our every other week. And based on the last meeting, there's not a whole lot of content doing those. It's just since South Central is basically leading pretty much everything, including the testing, et cetera. And because they're the ones who have already submitted enhancement suggestions, most of which Patrick assures me are non-issues for all of us. And I believe him because I've seen the list, and it's mostly typos and rearranging a few things on screens and stuff. I think that from what I've seen, they're not going to be an impact at all on any of us. Yeah, I think that that's a good thing. I will contact, I'm never sure who to contact at SCLS anymore. It'll be either Vicki, Heidi, or Amy, one of those three. Amy has been running the meetings lately, but I think that I'll have to think about it. Maybe I'll just write to all three of them, and then that way they can talk about it among themselves and then find out. With the public library sites, it's probably going to be just the main office. Like for South Central, it wouldn't be all 52 of their libraries that would be involved. It would just be maybe one or two people from the main office. That's a good idea. Thank you, Ben. We can meet in 2 weeks, Stephen, if that is agreeable to everybody. When I set up the meeting for this, I had the calendar stop at May 15th or May 16th, which is next week. So, okay, so we'll go ahead because you'll pretty much all either have your sandbox or you can still look in the Waldo sandbox to see how things are going. But I know that you'll want to look at the discovery layer configuration, a few other things. So, okay, so I'll go ahead and we will have a meeting in 2 weeks. I'll make sure that's on the schedule. And with that, I believe that we are done for today. Good luck with your URLs, and if you have trouble with them, enter a support center ticket. Put it back on them. They need to tell us these things rather than just counting on me to spread the word. I will spread the word, but they need to be accountable too. Okay, thank you all. Have a great day.